Luck.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar. Myself, Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta. Very warm welcome, all of you. We are organizing a program, Writing of Proposal and a Research Thesis. I am inviting Dr. Namita Gauraha, Madam, for further proceeding. Welcome, ma'am.
धन्यवाद सर, आपको नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार।
ये हमारा सौभाग्य है सर कि आपसे आज हमारी मुलाकात हो रही है। और ये 7 दिवसीय जो कार्यक्रम फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट का थीसिस राइटिंग पर है, ये मुझे उम्मीद है कि बहुत ही हमें लाभान्वित करेगा। मैं अपने कार्यक्रम का प्रारंभ जब भी करती हूँ सर, तो एक श्लोक है जो मेरे अंतरात्मा को टच करता है। अस्तो मां सद्गमया तमसो मां ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्यो मां अमृतंगमया। ये मेरा श्लोक है जिसको मैं अपनी शक्ति मानती हूँ सर। और इस शक्ति को साथ में रखते हुए मैं सर्वप्रथम आज के कार्यक्रम का प्रारंभ परम श्रद्धेय श्री BS सक्सेना सर, डॉक्टर DN सेंसलवाल सर, डॉक्टर प्रमोद कुमार गुप्ता सर, प्रोफेसर स्मिता सक्सेना, मनसा शिक्षा महाविद्यालय प्राचार्य, मैं समस्त स्टाफ एवं जो भी फैकल्टी हमारे साथ जुड़ी है सबका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करती हूँ। साथ ही साथ मैं उन समस्त स्टूडेंट जो हमारे PhD वर्क कर रहे हैं, PhD से जुड़ना चाह रहे हैं, जिनका चल रहा है, ये सारे लोगों को इस कार्यक्रम में आमंत्रित करती हूँ। साथ ही साथ हमने सर की एक क्लास 15 दिवस की इससे पूर्व भी की थी, जो कि बहुत ही सराहनीय रही सर। और निश्चित हमने इसका लाभ उठाया क्योंकि हमारा भी PhD का सब कार्य इसी से चल रहा था सर, और हम इससे लाभान्वित हुए। ज्यादा समय ना लेते हुए मैं मनसा शिक्षा महाविद्यालय प्राचार्य डॉक्टर स्मिता सक्सेना मैम को आमंत्रित करती हूँ कि मैडम आप आकर कार्यक्रम की कड़ी को आगे बढ़ाएं। धन्यवाद सर। मैडम स्मिता सक्सेना।
आदरणीय श्री डॉक्टर सेंसलवाल सर, डॉक्टर गुप्ता, नमिता मैडम एवं पूरे देश भर से जुड़े हुए बहुत सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं। मुझे गुप्ता सर ने बताया था कि बहुत सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट से, साउथ से, तो मुझे लगता है पूरा एक नेशनल लेवल का प्रोग्राम है। और इन सब लोग जो आए हैं सभी को मेरा सब प्यार भरा सादर नमस्कार एवं नए वर्ष की बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं। मैं मनसा शिक्षा महाविद्यालय की ओर से आप सभी का इस फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम जो राइटिंग ऑफ प्रपोजल और रिपोर्ट राइटिंग के ऊपर किया जा रहा है, उसमें आपका स्वागत करती हूँ। पिछले महीने ही हम लोगों ने, जैसे मैडम ने भी बताया आपको, कि पिछले महीने हमने 15 दिन का एक FDP और किया था रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी पे, जो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स ने भी बहुत अटेंड किए और भी बहुत लोगों ने किया और बहुत ही अच्छा फीडबैक मिला था। इवन मैंने खुद देखा था, तो मुझे और फीडबैक की जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि मैंने खुद अटेंड किया है वो प्रोग्राम, तो बहुत ही अच्छा था। और इसीलिए जब गुप्ता सर ने दोबारा इस प्रपोजल के लिए मुझे अप्रोच किया, तो मैंने बिल्कुल एक क्षण नहीं लगाया उसको मैंने हाँ करने के लिए, कि इतना अच्छा प्रोग्राम हमें फिर से दोबारा मौका मिल रहा है और अच्छे लोगों से जुड़ने का मौका मिलता है इस बहाने, तो बिल्कुल हमें करना चाहिए। और मैं चाहूंगी कि ये सभी जो भी रिसर्च स्कॉलर वगैरह इसमें जुड़े हैं वो सब इसका पूरा फायदा ले, और निश्चित रूप से इस प्रोग्राम से आप सभी को बहुत सारा लाभ मिलेगा। अभी मैं आपको कोरोना काल के लिए मेरे को 2 पंक्तियां मिली हैं, उसको मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ कि मुमकिन नहीं हर वक्त मेहरबान है जिंदगी, कुछ लम्हे जीने का तजुर्बा भी सिखाते हैं। तो ये जो कोरोना काल है इसने हमें बहुत सारा तजुर्बा दिया, मैं मानती हूँ। और इसी कारण जो हम लोग बहुत चीजें जो अभी तक ऑफलाइन करने में हम लोग लिमिटेशंस होती थी वो सब खत्म हो गई हैं। तो आज की डेट में कोरोना से कहीं ना कहीं हमें बहुत फायदा भी मिला, कुछ नुकसान भी है, लेकिन लाभ भी उतना ही है और उसने हमें जीवन का एक नया अनुभव दिया है। तो इस कोरोना काल में, इस पैंडेमिक में सब हम लोग अपने घर में सुरक्षित बैठे हैं, सभी स्वस्थ रहें, ईश्वर से प्रार्थना है आप सभी अच्छे से प्रसन्न रहें और इस पूरे प्रोग्राम का बहुत लाभ ले। डॉक्टर सेंसलवाल सर को एक बार फिर से धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सर। गुप्ता सर धन्यवाद आपका बहुत बहुत। आगे की कार्यक्रम के लिए गुप्ता सर प्लीज आगे कार्यक्रम बढ़ा सकते हैं, बढ़ाइए आप। थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू मैम। I invite to Dr. D.N. Sansanwal, sir, for today's lecture. Welcome, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Dear friends, let me at the outset wish all of you a very happy, prosperous, and corona-free 2021 and ahead. All of us have seen the how we passed 2020, and everybody has a hope, and therefore we also have got hopes that now things will be much better than what it was in 2020. Let me at the outset once again express my gratitude to Madam Saxena, Dr. Pramod Kumar, and other faculty members who have given me the opportunity to help my young researchers, teachers, as well as the researchers. Researchers includes everyone. So dear friends, I know that some of you have attended my other programs also and might be attending now this program also. But some of you are attending for the first time. So I thought that before I start telling you how to write the research proposal, I thought I must just take at least 1.5 hours today and to give little background of what is research, what are the types of variables, because there is a lot of confusion in respect of variables. And I should tell you where you should formulate hypothesis and where it cannot be formulated, and how to write title, because no one teaches you how to write title, how to write objectives, and how to formulate hypothesis. These are important aspects, and I'm sure when you studied the research methods, your teachers, some of them might have taught you how to write titles or how to write objectives or what are the different types of variables. But in majority of the places, these things are not taught. Variables are taught, but there is a lot of confusion. So let me start without taking much time. Now I request all my participants, please, you can ask me question and you put your question in the chat box. From time to time, I will look at the chat box, and whenever I find that there is a question which I must answer, so therefore I'll definitely answer it. But whenever there is no question, that's fine, nice, no problem at all. So right now there is no question here, but whenever there is a question, you can, without hesitation, you please type. You may type in Hindi or you may type in English, no problem at all. So let us start. Dear friends, all of you know the word research. Okay, this is not new to all of you. You have heard it many a times. But if you just see this one, it comprised two things, two words. One is re, another is search. That means you have searched once. Now you want to search it again. Why? Because whatever you have searched, you might not be fully satisfied with the solution that you have got. you may like to have a better solution of the same problem. Either the same solution will come or some other solution will come. But important is you are always interested in improvement. And these days, one word is very, very famous, and that is quality. You should try to improve the quality of your research. So therefore, you have to have first some problem. If there is no problem, then absolutely there is no need of doing any activity. Why this program is being organized? Because it has been found that many of the researchers are unable to write the quality research proposal or quality thesis. So if that would not have been the problem, then I'm sure this program would not have taken off today. So therefore you have a problem and there has to be a solution. You know, problem may be one, but there may be multiple solutions of the same problem. And why multiple solutions? Because when you take up a problem and I also take up the same problem, both of us may not arrive at the same solution. Right now, you know, COVID-19, different scientists belonging to different countries, they worked on it and they have come out with different solutions. Problem remain the same, COVID-19, but you have multiple solutions. Now, whenever you have a problem and you want to reach to the solution, then you have to do some activity. Activities have to be done. In the lab, when the scientists, they tried to find the remedy of the COVID-19, they did not do one activity. They must have done large number of activities. And whenever you do many activities, then you must know the sequence in which they have to be done. And whenever it is done, it has to be done systematically. Or you can say scientifically. So the activities, whenever to be carried out for finding the solution of the problem, they have to be done in a particular sequence, or they have to be done systematically or scientifically. And whenever you do many activities in a particular sequence, then that is called a process. See, when we are taking bath, you know, what do you do first, what do you do second, what is third, what is fourth. So therefore, taking bath is a process. When you brush your teeth in the morning, brushing teeth is a process. When you drive your car or scooter, driving car or scooter is a process. When you make vegetable, making vegetable is a process. When you want to prepare halwa, preparing halwa is a process. So there are so many processes, and you know what to do first, what to do second, and what to do third. You must have seen your mother or your sister or someone working in the kitchen. Whenever they are preparing anything, you know, they move very systematically. If they are preparing one particular vegetable or some other vegetable, then what sequence will change? So these are the 5 important words, and these words you must use in order to define research. ये देखिए, ये 5 शब्द हैं. एक समस्या होनी चाहिए और उस समस्या का कोई ना कोई समाधान होगा. उस समाधान तक पहुंचने के लिए आपको कुछ गतिविधियां करनी पड़ेगी. कभी भी एक गतिविधि नहीं होती, गतिविधियां होती है, कई एक्टिविटीज होती हैं, और उन एक्टिविटीज को आप एक पर्टिकुलर, एक निश्चित क्रम में करते हैं, और वो पूरा एक प्रक्रिया होता है. तो therefore we can define research. Research refers to a process wherein activities are carried out scientifically to find solution of the problem. Now, dear friends, this is the general definition of the research, and the important 5 words are like this. One is a process, another is activities, another is scientifically, and then solution, and then the problem. Please understand, you have a particular problem and there may be more than one solution of that particular problem. So that is why I have not written to find the solution. No, because it is solution of the problem. So each and every word is very important. Now, if I say this research in English, then how do I define it? Research in English refers to the process wherein activities are carried out scientifically to find solution of the problem related to some aspect of English. The problem must be related to the some aspect of the English. That is what is important. I have not written aspects. I'm saying aspect, because there might be many aspects and you have to do a research related to a particular, and that's your choice. If I want to say the research in botany, then I can say research in botany refers to a process wherein activities are carried out scientifically to find solution of the problem related to some aspect of botany. Like this, if there is any other subject, then you can write the name of that subject. So I have given you the general definition and the specific definition. And each word, the 5 words which I wrote, each word will become the characteristics. Research involves problem. Research is carried out by doing activities. Research is systematic in nature. Research refers to a process. and research leads to solution. So these 5 words, each word, when you write one sentence, that sentence will become the characteristic of research. So there are 5 characteristics of research. Okay. Now, since research is a process, so therefore I'm not telling you the types of the researches. You know, researches, okay, quickly I can tell the types of researches. One can be the qualitative research. Another can be quantitative. These are the 2 types of researches in all subjects, whether it is chemistry or whether it is physics or it is economics or management or botany or geology or biochemistry or computer science, whatever it is. Because either you have the quantitative information or you have the qualitative information. There cannot be the third type of information. In your research, you may have pure qualitative information or you may have pure quantitative information, or some information may be qualitative or some may be quantitative, but you cannot mix qualitative information and quantitative information. It's not possible. So this is one type of the researches which you can classify, and the base of classification is nature of information or type of data. Okay, so therefore here the base is nature of information or you may say type of data. Then there is another way to classify the researches. Okay, and the another classification of research. One can be called a philosophical research. Another can be called historical research. Another is called survey research. And another called experimental research. And another is called case study research. Now, you know, if you have to classify all these, then the base is that methodology, or you can say steps followed. There are some steps which are common everywhere, but some steps are specific to some of the type of the researches. I will tell you later on. And then another classification is one is called basic research. another is called basic, you can say fundamental, or you can say theoretical. Okay, then another can be, you can say experimental, or you can say applied. And the third is called action research. Now, these are the three types of researches, and I am not involving you in order to find out the base, but I'm just telling you the base is degree of utility, or you can say applicability. Now, these are the three types of the researches. I'm not going to tell you more about all these. You must have studied it. Now, dear friends, I'm not differentiating between discovery and invention. You must be knowing that. ये हिंदी में मैं आप लोगों को बता ही चुका हूं, तो मुझे शायद बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. अब मैं आपको स्टेप्स बताता हूं. Now, what are the steps of the researches? Steps of research. You know, there are different steps. One step of research is identification of problem. You must be knowing, please see, I'm not saying selection of problem. I'm saying identification of problem. Because there is a difference between identification and selection. When the situation is heterogeneous in nature, then we use the word identification, and when it becomes relatively homogeneous, then we call it a selection. So therefore, you start with identification and you land with selection. Then another, in this particular one, as a researcher, what are you supposed to do? As a researcher, you have to select a variable. Because without the variable, you cannot proceed with your research work. You have to have a variable. Variable is also called problem, or problem is another word of variable, or variable is another word for problem. समस्या कहिए या आप चर कहिए, बहुत एक ही बात है. क्योंकि अगर समस्या का है तो इसका मतलब उसमें कुछ ना कुछ परिवर्तन होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज तो समस्या नहीं हो सकती. And in a research, when you think of doing, you must have minimum one variable, but if you want, you can have more than one variable in one research. But you cannot think of a research without any variable. Now, once you have selected the variable, you should be able to write title. And I have seen, you can go to Shodh Ganga, and large number of PhD theses for which the degree has been awarded, they are uploaded there in different subjects. So if you want to see the quality of the researches, you can log into Shodh Ganga and go to your own subject, and you can find the researches. You can go to any university website. There are all universities in India, whatever, whether they are the state university or central university or deemed to be university or private universities, the list is there. So you can go and you can find out the titles, and you will find that some of the titles are all right, but majority of them are not okay. So I will tell you how to write a title. I'm not telling you more about the title, but when I write the title, then those informations I will tell you. And this I'm just revising, or you can say repeating, for those people who are attending my lectures for the first time. But I'm sorry, I'm not going too much in detail. I should have gone, but because of the time, so that's what I'm not going. Shodh Ganga is the name. Lobo, the name is Shodh Ganga. So there is no other name. You have to log in to you go to Google and type Shodh Ganga, and it will take you to that website. So there is no other. So once you have written the title, then you should write objective. In one research, there must be at least one objective. But if you want, you can have more than one objective. If you do not want to write the heading objective, then another heading you can write is research questions. And there must be one research question at least. When you think of conducting a research for the PhD, I'm sure you will not be having one objective. You will be having many objectives. I'm sure you will not write only one question, you write many questions. When you write the heading objective, then you are writing a simple sentence. But if you are writing the heading research question, that simple sentence, you are converting it into the question. So in one research, either you can write objectives or you can write research questions. In one research, there is no need of writing both the objectives and the research questions, because the meaning will be the same. And when it is the same meaning, then there is no sense of repeating. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. And when you are writing the objective or the research question, it has to be the pinpointed one. So I will take one objective and then I will definitely try to write I will write the So I will write the objective, and then you will know how the objective has to be written. So if as a researcher, you have selected your variable, you have written your title, and you have written your objectives, then step number 1 is over. then you have to go to the step number 2. It is this step which may not be in the philosophical research, in the historical research, in the descriptive survey research, or ethnography, etc., and case study research. In these types of researches, you will not have this second step, which now I am going to tell you. So this second step, which now I will tell you, will be always either in correlational survey or experimental researches. Okay, and the name of that formulation of hypothesis. Now, this formulation of hypothesis will not be in each and every research. Why? I am sure you know the definition of hypothesis. मैं हिंदी वाले लोगों के लिए बता रहा हूं कि अब जब आप समस्या का चयन करते हैं तो उसमें आप एक चर होगा कम से कम या ज्यादा भी आप ले सकती हैं, उसका एक शीर्षक होना चाहिए और उसके उद्देश्य होने चाहिए। एक उद्देश्य नहीं होगा, कई उद्देश्य होंगे। आप अगर उद्देश्य नहीं लिख रहे हैं तो आप रिसर्च क्वेश्चन लिख सकते हैं, और आपकी रिसर्च में हो सकता है कि आपके पास में गुणात्मक जानकारी हो, तो गुणात्मक जानकारी के लिए आपको परिकल्पना बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर आपके पास में संख्यात्मक जानकारी है तो आपको परिकल्पना बनानी पड़ेगी। तो ये जो सेकंड स्टेप है वो क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च में नहीं होता है, केवल क्वांटिटेटिव में होता है। Now let me tell you, dear friends, you know the definition of hypothesis, but quickly I tell you the hypothesis is the tentative solution of the problem. It is the tentative solution of the problem, or another can be hypothesis is the intelligent guess about the solution of the problem. And another is a hypothesis is the conjectural statement about the relationship between variables. Now these are the three definitions. From the first definition, you know, it is not the final solution, it is the tentative solution. It is the intelligent guess, and it is the conjectural statement, again means tentative. Because it is tentative, so what has to be done? It has to be tested. You must have been having experience of going to the doctor many a times And when you go to doctor, doctor examines you, and doctor sometime might have asked you to go to pathology lab and get some of the test done. Whatever the test that the doctor prescribes. So you go to pathology lab and you get those tests done. Right now, the COVID-19, as soon as the patient feels he is having a fever or something like this, when he approaches the doctor, doctor will immediately ask him to go to pathology lab and get these tests done. Why he wants those tests? Because he wants to be sure that the patient is suffering from this particular disease. So in science, you have labs to test your hypothesis. But in social sciences, we do not have labs to test our hypothesis. So we will be testing the hypothesis. So we will be testing the hypothesis with the help of statistical technique. And these statistical technique, you need the quantitative data. Now, if you do not have the quantitative data, then my dear friends, then you cannot test your hypothesis. So understand, those researches where you get a quantitative data which can be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique, then you can test the hypothesis and you should formulate the hypothesis. I repeat, in the researches where you have the quantitative data which can be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique, then you can test the hypothesis and you must formulate the hypothesis. But wherever you have qualitative data which cannot be analyzed with the help of statistical technique, then you cannot test the hypothesis and then you should not formulate the hypothesis. I repeat this sentence. If you have the qualitative data which cannot be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique, then you cannot test the hypothesis and you should not formulate the hypothesis. But if you have a qualitative data which can be converted into quantitative and which can be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique, then you can test the hypothesis and you should have a hypothesis. You know that when your teacher or you as a teacher conduct the test, the students write their answers. This answer is nothing but qualitative in nature because they must have written it many sentences, etc., etc. You as a teacher read the answers in the light of the question, and after having read, then you are assigning some marks. And when you are giving the marks, that means you have converted the qualitative information into quantitative. But if somebody asks you that can you reproduce the same answer of the question in which you have given, say, 6 marks, I'm sure teacher will not be able to reproduce word by word the same answer in which he or she has given 6 marks. But the teacher can always write another answer of the question where he may get 6 marks. So this illustrates that you can convert the qualitative information into quantitative, but from quantitative, you cannot get back the original quality. It's not possible. Okay. So therefore, this step number 2, will not be in each and every research. Now, the third one step is called data and data collection. And when you are collecting the data, then it is important for you to know from where to collect the data. So you must know about sample. From where you want to collect the data. So you must have the complete information about the sample or about the members of the sample. And this information you have to collect depending upon the variable that you have taken. Okay, whatever is the variable, then for that variable, from where will you take that? What is your population? Once you have selected the sample, then you should talk about the tool, or you talk about the tool or instrument. In science, the teachers and the research scholars, they do not use tools. They use instruments. And in social sciences, the researchers do not use instrument, they use tools. So you should know which tool you have used. What are the different aspects of the tool? Because if you do not know all these things, you will not be able to prepare your research proposal, and you will not be able to write your thesis. So therefore, to know different information about the tool is very important. Okay, say about the sample, you must know the population, you must know the sampling technique which you want to use, and then you must know the sample size and the main characteristics of members of the sample. These information you must have when you want to write your proposal. Okay. And for the instrument or for the tool, you must know the name. What is the name of the tool? You must know. In science, your instruments are fixed, so you have not to bother about the instrument, but you must know some characteristics of your instrument. That means what is the least count, what is the accuracy of that instrument which it can give you. Normally, least count will reflect the accuracy of that instrument. But in social sciences, you do not have something like accuracy type. So you write the name of the tool, then you have to write the name of the person, name of name of developer. In science, it is not, it's not required. You need not to write the name of the manufacturer. But if your teacher asks you to write, because many a times one manufacturer and another manufacturer, there might be some differences in some of the components, like the COVID-19, the vaccine that is coming. The different pharmaceutical companies have different structures. They have used different techniques. And therefore, when they are telling to the people, then they are telling the name of that particular technique. Okay, so this is all right. Then you must know the dimensions or components or aspects. Or aspects. Okay, then you must know for which age group this has been recommended, and then you should know the total number of items. Then you should know the time period, time required for administration. You should know the scoring. You should know the reliability. You should know the reliability and validity. Which method of reliability and which method of validity, and what exactly was the validity coefficient or reliability coefficient, that you should know. So these informations you have to give about the tools, then about the research, or you can say, okay, research method. Which research method you have to use? If you are using philosophical research, you have not to give any information. Only you have to give which philosophers and which original source you have used. Because in philosophical research, you cannot use the secondary source. But in historical research, you should try to use the primary source. But if you are unable to get the primary source, you can even take information from the secondary source. But in case of philosophy, you cannot take it from the secondary source. It has to be from the primary source. If you are talking about the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi, you have to read the books written by Mahatma Gandhi himself. If you have to understand the philosophy of Rabindranath Tagore, then you have to read the books and poems and other things written by Rabindranath Tagore. Like this, different philosophers. You have to do that. So in that there is nothing. It is only in the experimental research, there are different designs. So for experimental research, you have to write the name of the design. let me say, so this is only for experimental research. What are the things? You have to write name of the design, let me see what is the question. But if we are going to give a new perspective plan, then we should use different philosophies, even in comparison. No, my dear friend, it depends upon what is your objective. Without objective, what you have written, the different philosophies, if your objective is that, then you have to do accordingly. So Priyanka Sharma, you should try to understand it. New perspective cannot be. If it is a new perspective, then it is your perspective. So it depends upon what objective you have written. That is why objective is a part and parcel of step number 1. Once you have decided your objective, everything flows according to the objective. And your objective must be related to your title. That is why you write first title and then objective. So that's what is very important. But it's nice that you are asking question. So name of the experimental design, you should write. Then you should write the name of the treatment. Then you should write duration of the treatment. Then you should write the methods of controlling intervening variable. Methods of controlling intervening variables. And you should write your name of dependent variable. This is you should do. Then after that, your next is data analysis. If you have qualitative data, then you must know how will you like to analyze the qualitative data. What are the different techniques available for you? Let me see, there is a question coming in. What is the design of the study? There is no design of the study, dear friends. It is only the design of the experiment, not the study. There is nothing like that. Okay, so if you have the data analysis, so if you have a qualitative data, then there are techniques available. If you have quantitative data, then there are large number of techniques available. And then we come to the conclusion. Okay, if you have the objectives, depending upon objectives, you will have conclusion or conclusions. Some people write findings, no problem at all. So in short, I have given you these, but because we will be writing the title and we will be writing the objective. So let me now going to tell you about the variable. I'm sure you know the variable. Variable refers to the changeable characteristic. Changeable characteristic. Any characteristic which has a tendency to change will be called the variable. Height is a variable, weight is a variable, power of a lens is a variable, speed of car is a variable, hemoglobin is a variable, reasoning is a variable, achievement is a variable, head circumference is a variable, colors are variable, language is variable, subjects variable, number of books in the library vary. There are thousands of variables because they change. No library has got a static number of books. They keep on adding the books every year. And so the number keeps on changing. So it's a variable. So any changeable characteristics will be variable, and those characteristics which cannot change will be constant. For example, the number of days in a week. You ask anyone, everyone will say the 7 days. The total hours in day and night, everyone will say 24 hours. But if you say total hours in day, then during summer it is different and during winter it is different. When you say the time of sunset, it is different. In summer it is different, in winter it is different. Okay, so the value of pi, the sum of 3 angles of a triangle, like this. There are many variables, there are many characteristics which cannot be changed, and therefore they are always in philosophical research or yes, in philosophical research there are a lot of variables. If you want to study the educational objectives or education system according to Mahatma Gandhi, now in this education system you can see objectives, you can see the medium of instruction, you can see the structure of the class, you can see so many. All these are variables. So therefore there are variables always, no problem at all. Okay, so if there is any other question, you can keep on asking, I will keep on replying. Okay, so therefore constant. Now variable, in one situation, one particular variable may be a variable, but in another situation, it may not be a variable. For example, this particular webinar, if is being attended only by the teachers, voice, yes, voice is a variable. Yes, there are many variables, no problem at all. Let me see what is the question coming here. Explain limitation and delimitation. Don't worry, when I will talk about the thesis writing, I will talk about the limitation and delimitation. Don't worry about it. Sumit Kumble. All right. So a variable may be a constant. You may take all males, then you are keeping gender constant. You may take only Hindi medium student, then you are keeping language constant. You may take students only from the government school, then you are keeping type of school constant. So like this, any variable can be kept constant. Okay. Now, the types of variable. Dear friends, the variables are of two types. One is called the continuous variable and another is called discontinuous variable. There cannot be the another type of variable. Either in all subjects, either the variable which you have taken is a continuous one or it is a discontinuous one or discrete. Or you may say discrete variable. The choice is yours. Any subject, whether it is painting, music, dance, history, economics, chemistry, physics, whatever it is. These are the two types of variable, whether you are doing philosophical research or historical research or survey research or experimental research or case study research, you will find there will be always either the variable you have taken is a continuous one or maybe discontinuous one. It is possible that some of your variables may be continuous and some may be discontinuous. For example, continuous variable is one which can be expressed in the whole number as well as in fraction. For example, weight. For example, height. For example, achievement. For example, reasoning. Okay. For example, stress. For example, if you want to say intelligence, no problem. If you want to say a reaction towards COVID-19. Like this, their cost, price, height, so many variables are there which are continuous variable. Discrete variable are which can be expressed only in the whole number. Expressed only in whole number. For example, colors. You will only say 7 colors, but intensity of the red color is continuous variable. Okay. Another question, let us say what is the question. Please forward this Word document in, don't worry, do not worry. You will get all this at the end of the program, not the lecture, my dear. Neetu, do not worry, you will get it. At present, just try to concentrate. Define experimental design. When I will come to the thesis writing, I will define, dear friends, don't worry. Please forward. Yes, I will forward. Nothing to worry about it. Okay. There is another question coming up here. What is the question? All right, fine. Okay. So say color. Say, you can say number of working days. You say types of schools. You say languages. You say number of lines on pages. Like this, there are so many discontinuous variables. The strength of the class, etc. There are so many. Okay. Now, but in experimental research, the following name of variables must be used. One is called independent variable. Or it is also called a treatment. Those who are from science, they know you must be giving some treatment. And another is called dependent variable. Okay. You know, when I have a fever, so my body temperature is the dependent variable, and then doctor will give me the medicine. That medicine will become an independent variable. And when I am taking the medicine, the doctor may ask me not to eat few things. And why he is asking me not to eat few things? Because there are some intervening variables. And intervening variables must be controlled. Now, your independent variable is always a discontinuous variable, but your dependent variable is always continuous variable. And your intervening variable may be continuous, may be discontinuous. But these words only to be used in experiment, not in another research. The dependent variable is always continuous, and treatment is always discontinuous. And your intervening variables may be discontinuous or continuous, may be continuous and or discontinuous. So that's what you should try to understand it. Let me see what the other question coming in. महात्मा गांधी के शिक्षण दर्शन का राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति नो 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 के संदर्भ में नो नो नो. Please understand, this cannot be. Understand what Mahatma Gandhi did. what Mahatma Gandhi said at that point of time, what has it to do today? So I don't think this is all right. And when it is राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा, एक अगर आपको ये करना है तो यहाँ देखिए कि उन्होंने स्कूल कितने साल का कहा है, यहाँ ईयर हो जाएगा, कौन कौन से सब्जेक्ट कहे हैं, ओके, किस तरह के उन्होंने कोर्सेज कहे हैं, कई ऐसे वेरिएबल हो सकते हैं इसके अंदर, ऐसे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ओके। स्ट्रेस आपका फ्रैक्शन में होगा, क्योंकि आप देखिए मेडिकल में भी स्ट्रेस होता है और साइकोलॉजिकल में भी स्ट्रेस होता है। वहां पे जो आप स्केल लेंगे, स्ट्रेस स्केल लेंगे, वो आपकी फ्रैक्शन दे देगा। एक्चुअली आप लोगों को रिसर्च मेथड्स की जो है अंडरस्टैंडिंग कम है, ऐसे मुझे आपके क्वेश्चन से फील होता है। तो आप लोगों को बेसिक पहले रिसर्च मेथड समझनी चाहिए, and then you should understand the statistical technique, and then you should understand how to write paper and how to write thesis and things of that variety. Anyway, all right, no problem at all. Let's say what is the another one. Please forward this. Don't worry about it. Forward, do not worry. Okay. So these are the three types of the variable which will be independent and dependent in experimental study, intervening in experimental study, but intervening variable may be in survey research also. When you do a partial correlation, you are partialing out a variable which is an intervening variable. Anyway, another is called concomitant variable. Concomitant variable. At present, when you are listening to me, each one of you do not have the same height, and you are not understanding according to your height, but height is a variable here, and this variable is a concomitant variable. Your skin color, each one of us have, or each one of us has different skin colors. So we are not understanding according to our, so skin color is a concomitant variable. So there are many concomitant variables. Not one variable, many variables are there. So you need not to bother about it. In one research, one variable may be concomitant, and that concomitant variable may become a intervening variable in some research. For example, height, right at the moment, is not an intervening variable, but in basketball, it will become an intervening variable. Anyway, these are different types of the variable, so I need not to tell you more about it. Now, let me just tell you how exactly the title has to be written. And let me take one variable. Either you can tell me the variable and then I will write the title, or I will take the variable and write the title. If you want to suggest me title, you can suggest. Let us see what is the title you are suggesting. ICT is not a variable, my dear friend. Ashwani Kumar, ICT is not a variable. Design education in school is not a variable. Anyway, craft design is not a variable. Okay, all right. Let me see, some people are writing. teacher effectiveness, okay. Stress, okay. Learning orientation, all right. So we can take anything you like. So let us say, if you want stress, I can take stress as a variable. And let me now write the title. So I'm saying a study of a study of, I say a study of stress. I say a study of stress of teachers. A study of stress of teachers of government colleges. A study of stress of teachers of government colleges of India. A study of stress of teachers of government colleges of Madhya Pradesh. And then I say a study of stress of teachers of government colleges of Bhopal. Now, dear friends, if you see the first one, it is not all right because it is too broad. And anything which is too broad is vague. And a title cannot be vague. So a title cannot be vague. Now, if you compare the second with the first one, in the second one, I have written the word stress. So that means I must give information about variable. So in the second one, you have got a variable, but is it all right? The answer is no. Whose stress? In the third one, it is said teacher. The moment I say teacher, I'm talking about population. And the teachers, maybe in the primary school, in the middle school, in the high secondary school, in the college, in the university, it can be so many. It is still too broad. But then I have said teachers of government colleges. So that means these are the teachers not from school. These are the teachers not from the private colleges. These are the teachers only of the government colleges. But government colleges all over the world, all over the India, too many. Then I have said now India. And once I say India, then it means the teachers will not be from Bangladesh, will not be from Australia, will not be from Netherlands, will not be from Canada. They are only from India, but India is widespread. Then I have narrowed it down to Madhya Pradesh. And Madhya Pradesh is also too broad. If you like, you can further narrow it down to Bhopal. So of these, according to you, which title seems to be appropriate? which title seems to be appropriate? If anyone of you like to answer, you can answer. The 7 one, correct. Correct. Yes, 6 or 7. That's right. So either you can take 6 or you can take 7. If you take the 6th one, then you may even collect the data from Indore or from Jabalpur or from Rewa. But if you have written Bhopal, then you have further narrowed down your population. So you cannot then take the data from Indore or from Jabalpur or from Rewa. You cannot. So therefore you have to decide whether do you want to narrow it down to this. So if the 6th or the 7th, you know the variable, you know the population, and then you know the type of research. This is the survey type of research. And if this is the survey type of research, then let me just write the objective. If I take this as my title, then how do I will write my objectives? If this is my title, then this is the title, then my objectives can be like this. Now see, I can write, you will tell me which one is all right. To compare stress of male and female teachers, whether this is all right or whether this is all right. To compare mean scores of stress of male and which one is all right according to you? Second, yes, correct. Second is all right. Muscular strength, all right, no problem at all. All right. Yes, the second one is all right. So the first one is not correct because you don't know how will you compare. So you must write here mean scores of. So you should write to compare mean scores of stress of male and female teachers. This can be one objective. Another objective can be to compare mean scores of stress of urban and rural teachers, or to compare the mean score of stress of teachers belonging to urban and rural areas. If these are your objectives, then how do I hypothesis. Then my hypothesis will be now I'm writing the hypothesis and then you tell me which one is all right. There is no significant difference in mean scores. Is this all right or this all right? Or this is all right? One, two, and three. Which one is all right? One. Yes, one is all right. Correct. One is all right. Correct. So therefore, you cannot write the hypothesis in the future tense. You have to write it in the present tense because there is a base. So this is how I thought I should tell you today. And for this will be there is no significant difference in. So this is how you have to. So I have told you some basics, and then tomorrow I will go to the proposal writing. And if there is any question you want to ask, so you can ask me today, right now, or you can ask me tomorrow. The choice is yours. If there is any question you want to type in your chat box, you can type it. Yes, it is in the present tense always, because there is a base, and whenever there is a base, it cannot be in the future tense. Okay, dear friends, I think we can stop it today here, because I'm not going to tell you, Om Prakash, the different types. This I will tell when we are having another program where I will talk about everything in detail. What is research, types of researches, hypothesis, sampling, tools, and experimental designs. I'm going to take all that in detail, different types, etc., etc. So if you are interested, you can ask Dr. P.K. Gupta. He will tell you more information about it. But here I am sorry that I have to restrict myself. So thank you very much. So now I am closing it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Many thanks to you, sir. And many thanks to all participants. Whose friends who have not joined this program, they can join us at Mumbai at same program we are organizing at 18 January to 24th January 2021. Okay. So again, many thanks to you, sir.
Okay.
And many thanks to all participants. We will meet again at the same time. Thank you.